Hello, good evening. Welcome to Prime Business with me, Pius Kojo Baka. To our very first story, government has kick-started the process to pay first coupon on the new debt exchange program maturing from today. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, in a tweet on social media, noted that instructions have gone out for some 2.4 billion cedis to be released to aid the payment. George Yafe has the rest of the story.
The payments will go to individuals and institutions that exchange their old bonds for the new ones under the domestic debt exchange program at the end of February this year. Joy Business understands that even though most of these bonds that were exchanged are maturing today, actual payment should start from tomorrow. This should mean that it could take about 2 days for these bondholders to have their monies hit their accounts. Therefore, starting the process today will ensure that everyone should be paid before the end of this week. We are also learning that another 5.4 million cedis has been advanced as coupon payments for persons that didn't participate in the domestic debt exchange program. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, in a tweet on social media handle X, maintained that the decision to kickstart the process demonstrates government's commitment and credibility of the domestic debt exchange program.
Associate Professor of Finance at Andrews University, Professor Williams Prepra, is optimistic that this would bring back confidence into the economy.
This particular situation is very important to Ghanaians and also bringing confidence back into the economy. This was based on the debt exchange program plan that government told the whole world that this is how we're going to go about it. So I was not expecting that government will have a plan in a way to default. This is something that they may have to make sure that it is paid on 27th and 28th as has been planned. It's an important feature of the whole structure of the debt exchange program. If something should happen, it may have an impact on the external debts, external creditors evaluations and the cocoa bond syndications and the rest. That is the discussion that are ongoing. So this is very, very important and it's good news. It points to the fact that probably government is getting back some kind of liquidity also into the system to be able to meet its debts. And it may give an indication that probably the rating agencies may have to change their mind on the ratings given to Ghana, because once we start paying our debts locally, it gives a signal that we are in a little bit of a better position to be able to honor our debts.
Now, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Mines and Energy says its investigations into the deal between the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation and Genza Energy Ghana Limited has revealed no irregularities. This follows claims by civil society groups, including Imani Africa and Africa Center for Energy Policy, ICEP, that Ghana buys gas for $95.8 million and sells to Genza for $43.5 million, accounting for $1.5 billion financial loss to the state. But concluding its 11-month-long investigation, the Parliamentary Select Committee described the computation methods used by ICEP and Imani as faulty. Details of the Parliamentary Committee indicate that the country stands to benefit from the deal in terms of job creation and energy sector security. The report added that the country will make savings to the tune of $1.462 billion, as GNPC will lose $1.462 billion if Gencel moved to WACONet back. Also, there will be a reduction in transmission losses by $480 million once the Ameri plant is relocated to Kumasi and made operational. In some other stories, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, has announced an increase in electricity and water tariffs by 4.22% and 1.18% respectively. Now, effective 1st September, this comes on the back of a conclusion of regulatory process for the quarterly adjustment of tariff by the PURC. The quarterly tariff review mechanism aims to track and incorporate changes in key factors used in determining natural gas, electricity, and water tariffs. Let's share some excerpts of the statement issued by the PURC on that with you. There you go. It reads, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission has concluded its regulatory process for the quarterly adjustments of tariff for the third quarter of 2023. The process is in conformity with the quarterly tariff review mechanism and guidelines as communicated in the Commission's August 2022 major tariff review decisions. Now, the objectives of the third quarter tariff review goes as follows. 1, to track and incorporate changes in key factors used in determining electricity, water, and natural gas tariffs. Now, let me quickly jump to point 2, where it reads to reduce the cross subsidization between industrial consumers and residential customers. This is to address the high electricity cost for industrial customers, which has been repeatedly identified in the AGI Business Barometer as a key challenge affecting the competitiveness of Ghanaian businesses in the global marketplace. Thus, this reduction will support the growth and competitiveness of industry and as part of a significant contribution towards Ghana's industrialization drive and enhance opportunities for job creation. And finally, to ensure that the utilities are financially viable to sustain supply of services while reducing the burden on consumers, especially lifeline customers. And we've been getting reactions to that. And Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, Samuel Agri, says the tariff adjustment will not affect industry operations. According to him, the increase is marginal and will not be passed on to consumers.
For the first time, the PUIC has really considered the industry at hand and announcing the increment. This will not affect industry as such, but then the domestic users. So electricity, as they are saying, is going up by 4.22% for domestic users, and then for water, it's also going up by 1.18%. With this increase, I would have wished they have gone ahead to make an announcement of categorical downward trend for industry, so that at least we can see that industry can also benefit from this. But nonetheless, there has not been any increase yet, and if it will go that way.
Now, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, says it will soon roll out new regulations that will enhance the capacity of local enterprises to facilitate and boost foreign direct investments. According to the Chief Executive of the GIPC, Yofi Grant, they will create an avenue for mobilizing and harnessing the resources and skills of Ghanaian diasporan community to invest in Ghana to accelerate economic growth. He was speaking at the second edition of the CEO's breakfast meeting in Accra, with a specific focus on local content empowerment through partnerships. Here's more. The second edition of the 2023 CEO's Breakfast Meeting brought together both local and foreign investors to deliberate on how to empower and maximize local content participation in harnessing the country's resources through partnerships. Speaking to Joy Business on the sidelines of the event, CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, said they will soon roll out regulations to enhance the capacity of local businesses to propel foreign direct investments.
Ghana, significantly, is also minerals rich, resource rich. So we need to create the relationships that inure to our benefit. How do we partner with foreign direct investment and local enterprise to create a very conducive business environment that becomes, the toast of Africa? That is a question that we need to do, and that is what we are working with at GIPC. Conversations with the agencies, conversations with the private sector, and private sector business ensures that we are coming out with new regulations that will facilitate foreign direct investment, that will partner consistently with local enterprise.
Making a speech during a panel discussion, President of AGI, Humphrey Enyimdake, stressed on the need for government to outline a clear objective of improving FDIs in the country.
Both countries' primary objective of the said FDI interventions. What is your game plan, or what is your goal for attraction of FDI? FDI is good, but it has come through evolution, through a period, and each FDI transaction is peculiar to a geographical location with a clear objective of the government. Is it for purposes of job creation, or is it for the purposes of technology transfer? And if in the said context, when we fast forward it to today's activities, these evolutions had perfected the best practices of FDI engagement.
The second edition of the 2023 CEO's Breakfast Meeting seeks to enhance the investment climate in Ghana for both Ghanaian and non-Ghanaian enterprises. On investment, some investors and businesses have warned of diversion of more foreign direct investments if government fails to introduce some more tax incentives to local firms. This, they say, is key to job creation to support economic growth. According to the Chief Financial Officer for B5 Plus Group Limited, Ghana stands a better chance to attract more investors if it continues to create a conducive business environment for these investors. He spoke to Joy Business.
National Business Honors serves as Ghana's flagship awards program, recognizing and rewarding excellence across all sectors. Charlie Party called for more public-private partnership.
If the businesses have to be supported, they should be given more tax incentives. The more tax incentives, you should allow more foreign direct investment into the country by giving attractive incentives to them. Definitely, I'll tell you, I have worked in many countries, and Ghana is one of the best companies. The people are very good. They speak very good English. You are blessed with lovely beaches, very good, landscapes. You can invest. People can come and invest a lot of money on tourism. So there is a lot of positivity actually.
Managing Director for AH Hotel, Joseph Tetenate, bemoaned the high taxes affecting the hospitality industry.
Directly we do a lot of direct costs when it comes to food, and our business operations is dependent on food. But like I said, we're focusing more on giving the customers the best and to absorb the cost. So next year going, we know how to re-strategize, because our budgets were prepared for the year before all these costs came into play. But we're cool, we're working in line, we're satisfying our customers with good meals. Others are finding their feet, but we have been able to manage ourselves, and it's working perfectly for us as we speak.
Group Financial Controller at the Environment and Sanitation Group at Jospon Group, Adokale Okpotu Paulo, called for a reduction in interest rate to save businesses.
The economy really affects us. The exchange rate really affected us earlier on, but things are quite stabilizing. So our CEO is very strong, and he wouldn't wait for the money to come in. He would actually go and look for money to do these things in advance, and it's very weighty on the company. So we hope that money will flow faster in the country and pay for the investments that we do, because we pre-finance a lot of things.
The National Business Honors seek to recognize companies and individuals for their visionary leadership.
Now, players within the network marketing industry are calling for more sensitization program to support the space. According to them, this would clear the misconception of many describing the operations as fraudulent. According to one-star director at Long Range Ghana, Kennedy Amwako, the business can contribute to job creation. He spoke to Joy Business at an award event.
Basically, there is a serious deficit in sensitization and then education. It's time as a nation we come together and talk about the business of network marketing. My wife, for example, had to talk to me about network marketing for 6 solid months. But what brought me into it is when I used the product and I realized that the product was good and was worth continuing to use it. As I was using it, I was getting some little commissions. It wasn't nothing to write home about, but it at least tells a story that if I open up and get better education, I can do it bigger. In fact, gone are the days where people carry products on their head, go around and sell. Network marketing is far away from that. About its illegality is far away from that. But there's a thin line between network marketing and Ponzi schemes and scams. So if you open up yourself, open up your mind, get educated, I think we can all get to embrace it, understand it, and spread the news better.
Part of efforts to harness the opportunities in the non-traditional export sector, Fidelity Bank Ghana has launched the Fidelity Exporters Club with the signing of a memorandum of understanding with the Federation of Association of Ghanaian Exporters, an umbrella organization representing over 1,200 exporters companies and 22 sub-associations. More in the following report.
According to the World Bank, Exports of goods and services as a percentage of gross domestic product in Ghana was 29.91% in 2021, indicating a positive effect of trade on the economy. Managing Director for Fidelity Bank Ghana, Julian Kingsley Opuni, expressed the bank's readiness to help strengthen the infrastructure required to give certainty around the growth of the sector.
In the past, banks are used to sitting back and formulating products off the back of the fact that we assume we know what they need. The idea of doing this is to work from the exporter back to the bank. What are their challenges? What support do they need? And so once we understand that, then the formulation of our products around even the interest that you will charge, around the term, how you structure loans, how you structure other support, then becomes a lot more relevant. And it's also not only about access to finance, it's about how we support them and get other partners to help support them in the regulatory environment, support for documentation, certification, etc.
President of the Federation of Association of Ghanaian Exporters, Nene Davis Koboy, called for the creation of a special funding for exporters in the agric sector in terms of interest rates payment.
We are looking at creating another niche market for ourselves, because if you talk about agric, you can't use the same interest rate for commerce against agribusiness, and that is exactly what we've been doing, saying all this year, that if we can create another funding to take care of it. So we are looking. I know currently the likes of the MasterCard Foundation is doing 10% for Barclays. We are looking at Fidelity doing between 7 to 9% for our club.
Some exporters who spoke to Joy Business say they are optimistic the partnership will create a significant impact in the sector.
This partnership is a difference between night and day. At least it's the beginning of seeing light in this system, because no bank has come up and signed up with exporters wanted to know what they do, so that together we can solve it, because what we export affects everybody, including all of us standing here.
I'm very happy today to be part of this event. It's a historical event in the sense that the bank has made a move, not only to show interest in exporters' activities, but to give concrete help and assistance and support, which is something that we have lacked for quite a while.
The Fidelity Exporters Club is in collaboration with the Development Bank Ghana.
More news. Government spent 63 billion cedis on decent work and sustainable economic growth in 2022. That's according to Ghana's 2022 Sustainable Development Goals Budget and Expenditure Report. The report added that the Sustainable Development Goal 8 is the most invested goal among the 17 SDGs. Here is more.
The Ministry of Finance led the voluntary national review of the Sustainable Development Goals in tracking allocations and spending. In a bid to promote sustainable economic growth and employment for all, the government budgeted 63 billion cedis for SDG 8 against an actual expenditure of 55 billion cedis. A breakdown of the report showed that about 564.6 million cedis was invested in small and medium-scale enterprises through the Ghana Enterprises Agency. The Microfinance and Small Loans Center, MASLOC, also disbursed a total of 2.32 million cedis to 1,247 microcredit beneficiaries and 248,000 cedis to 13 small loans beneficiaries. An amount of 63 million cedis was also allocated to metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies, with the Volta, Central and Eastern regions being the regions with the highest allocations respectively. The report added an undisclosed amount from the 63 billion cedis was used to decongest the port of Tema and continuation of works on the Buankra Integrated Logistics Terminal. Additionally, 2 transit truck parks at Paga and Olubo were constructed.
The National Biosafety Authority has disclosed that plans are underway to outline guidelines for genome editing and stack genes in September this year. Speaking at a workshop for scientists on biotechnology, Chief Executive Officer of the authority, Eric Okure, emphasized that his outfit is working assiduously to ensure that everything produced in Ghana is safe to consume.
Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology Ghana organized a workshop to educate scientists in other fields on genetically modified organisms. Chief Executive Officer of the National Biosafety Authority, Eric Okore, has been updating the scientists on the progress of regulatory activities on biotechnology in Ghana.
On the administrative side, we are coming out, in fact, in September, we are coming out with guidelines on genome editing. Now, GMOs is not the classical way where the gene is transferred from the donor to the recipient through the gene gun or the agrobacterium. It's the same organism, and the gene is edited in the organism. So how do we do that in Ghana? We have come out with guidelines on that. We have also come out with guidelines on stacked genes. If anybody wants to add gene on top of other, another one, we have come out with guidelines on that.
Director General of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Professor Paul Bosu, indicated that farmers are highly expectant of the release of genetically modified organisms. According to him, they will continue to educate the public to help shape perception.
If you are spending so much money and spraying about 8 times chemicals, remember these are chemicals on crops, and you can significantly reduce that and then also get your yield, cut down the losses by as much as 80%. So honestly, the farmers, they are waiting for the final release. Education, public awareness. If people come to understand, if people come to know why we are doing it, they come to understand the science, the very basic science of it, and they realize, they come to understand that, oh, after all, this is simple. GMO or biotechnology is something that we have lived with over the years. Then they would come to appreciate it. The other one is time. Time will tell if these things that the GMO, the biotechnology, manipulated crops are bad or they are evil.
The pod borer-resistant cowpea has been approved by the National Biosafety Authority, but it's yet to be released for mass production and commercialization.
Now, the Microfinance and Small Loan Center, MASLOC, has explained that the closure of the Boku MASLOC office is due to the security situation in the district. According to the center, it did not take the decision to deny the people of Boku of its services. The following report explains why.
MASLOC, in the press release responding to what it describes as misinformation in circulation on various social media platforms, said the temporary closure of the Boku district office was solely based on security issues and not an attempt to deny the people of its service. According to the center, the issues being circulated on social media contain some inaccuracy and do not represent the full fact. MASLOC assured the general public and its stakeholders that the primary reason for its decision to temporarily close its zonal office in Boku was due to the insecurities at Boku, which made the office non-functional. Providing some more insight, the statement said other governmental and business entities operating in the business commercial towns such as GCB, ADB, Absa Bank, SNET, and other judicial service have been compelled to relocate to other parts of the Upper East region and some to the offices of the Regional Coordinating Council in order to protect the lives of their employees. The center added that, following the concerns, it was decided to transfer the staff to the regional office in Bogotanga so they could continue working while management considered a long-term intervention to ensure that the staff could return to their jobs without fear of harm.
That's it for Prime Business. I am Pius Kojobaka, International.